I did a year of strength training and got absolutely nowhere. Same 5k pace, dead legs on every single hill. I honestly started to believe this was just my ceiling. 50 years old, this is what you get. Then I swapped one exercise, not a new plan, not a new coach, not more hours in the gym. One exercise. 6 weeks later, I knocked 2 minutes off my 5k. This is what happened to me. I need to rewind because the frustration matters. For a full year, I did everything I was told: squats, lunges, leg days until my quads burnt. Twice a week, every week, no excuses. And the runs, nothing moved, not 1 second faster. My 5k just sat there like a brick. My legs felt heavy before I'd even set off. Every run started tired, and every hill finished me. And the worst bit wasn't the results, it was the story I started telling myself. When you put in that much work and get nothing back, you don't think wrong training, you think wrong runner. This is it. This is my limit. I started running in my late 40s. What did I expect? I'd convinced myself I was just a slow runner. I wasn't. I was training for the wrong thing. This didn't come from a fancy coach or an expensive seminar. I found it at 11 o'clock at night, down the rabbit hole, after another rubbish run. And more I read, the more it lined up with something I'd been ignoring. I'd always been told strength training was good for runners, so I did my squats, my lunges, and built some muscle. It made no difference to my pace. What nobody had explained to me was the difference between two completely different kinds of strength. There's the strength I'd been building, muscle that gets tired, and there's the strength I actually needed, muscle that snaps, power. And there's one exercise built for exactly that. One exercise that targets the exact muscles driving me forward with every stride. It took me a while to find it, but once I did, the whole wasted year finally made sense. The exercise is the kettlebell swing, but not the one you're picturing, not the high rep, fling it about version, the hardstyle swing. Hardstyle is a technique, short, explosive, aggressive. Every rep is snap. The bell isn't lifted, it's thrown forward with the hips. This is what I did, nothing more complicated than this. 10 sets of 10 swings, twice a week, on days I wasn't running. Hard, every rep, explosive, a hard snap at the top, then guide it back down. Rest between sets because this is the power, not cardio. The whole thing took about 20 minutes. That's it. And the detail, that changed everything for me. Where the power comes from, it comes from the hips, the glutes, the hamstrings, the posterior chain, the engine, and actually run on. And then there's the mistake, the thing I nearly got wrong, and the thing that wastes the whole exercise. Swing it like a squat, bend the knees, let the quads take over, and it's just another leg day. And leg days were the problem. The swing is a hinge. I sit back, I snap forward. The moment my knees start doing work, I know I've lost it. So why did this work when a year of squats didn't? Three reasons, and I only understand all three afterwards. One, power, where I run from. The glutes and hamstrings are the springs that push me off the ground. Every stride, I'd spent 20 years sitting at a desk, and mine were weak. The swing woke them up. Two, running economy. 2 minutes off a 5k wasn't about getting fitter. I was already fit. It was about every stride costing me less energy, stronger, springs, cheaper stride, same effort, faster time. Three, it didn't wreck my training. 20 minutes of power didn't leave my legs dead for the next run, the way a heavy squat session always had. So I could do it in the middle of a marathon training without sabotaging the week. Here's the question I want you to answer in the comments. How long have you been training, and how long since you actually got faster? Because if the answer to both is a while, this might be your fix. And if you ever felt like you were doing everything right and getting nowhere, that's the whole point of this channel. No highlight reel, no nonsense, just what actually worked for a bloke who started running in his 40s. If that sounds like you, hit subscribe. It genuinely helps me and keeps making these videos. It's a bit that actually matters to me, and it's bigger than a kettlebell. For 20 years, my weight defined me. I couldn't run a city block, and somewhere along the way, I picked up this quiet belief that I was just built slow. That's my ceiling, was lower than everybody else's. 6 weeks of swings didn't just make me faster, they proved the ceiling was a story I'd made up. I wasn't a slow runner, I was a runner training for the wrong thing. And at the moment I started training for power, for the strength running, actually uses the ceiling moved. Not because I found a magic exercise, because I stopped telling myself the wrong story. So that's the exercise, the plan, and the mistake to avoid. But now I want to hear from you. What's the one change that finally made you faster? Or if you're still stuck, what's the story you've been telling yourself? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.